Hey everyone, welcome to Module 10, Loops. This is the final control structure that we need to learn as programmers to be able to program in any language in the world. So I'm going to switch right over to JGrasp, create a folder. I'm going to call it Loops. And what I'm going to do in this video is show you the three different types of Java loops that we use: the while loop, the for loop, and the do while loop. And we're all going to do the same code with each one so that you can see how these work. So this will be our introduction to loops. Know this, in Module 10, it is the hardest unit for students to learn because of the concept of trying to figure out what the output is going to be when you're trying to learn them. So here's my suggestion. If you're struggling with any of the challenge problems in Module 10, send me a Canvas email. Say I'm struggling with 10.5.6 challenge or 10.1.2 coding or whichever one it is, and I'll either send back a video. I have some pre-recorded, or I'll just send you back some help. Okay, so just know that it's not you. This is one of the hardest units to learn. Okay, so let's start off with a while loop. Okay, and what I'm going to do for each of these codes is, let's just say, let's just print the numbers from 1 to 10 and their doubles. No, let's just make it easy. I want to start off this really easy. Let's just print the numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, so I'm going to start this one and I'm going to call it a while loop. Every program in Java is inside of a class. It's a structure. You'll start programs out this way. Public static void main, a string of args. And just remember, args can be called anything you want. There's our template. File, save as. Call it a while loop and save. Okay. First thing I do, input, process, output. Sometimes those are done together. Okay, declare my variables. I need a variable. Let's just start off with something easy. Just do an integer number. Start it off at 0. Okay. And we'll use a constant in this just to practice with a constant. Don't forget we use the word final for that. We'll make it an integer and we'll call it max. And in our case, we want it to be 10. It's our constant. Okay? Here's our process. While number is less than max, we want it to be less than or equal to. We want the numbers from 1 to 10 inclusive. Make an inclusive means both 1 and 10. I guess I need to start this out at 1, not 0. Okay? Start the number at 1, make it to 10. Here's the simple while loop. While is a keyword in parentheses. While that number is less than 10, let's print it. And I guess this will be my process and my output at the same time. Sometimes it happens because these are such simple programs, but normally you want to, but I'll put something else down here. We'll just put end program. It's my print statement, my put statement, right? So while number is less than max, print the number. And then add 1 to number. Okay. Now, this is my while loop here. This is called a while loop. A while loop is a pre-test loop. It's a structure. Therefore, it's surrounded with braces in most parts. Yeah, so we want to open this up And at the end of our complete while loop, we want to close it. That's important, okay? Again, if you remember with the if structure, you don't need the curly braces if you just have one statement. We have two statements within inside this structure, so we definitely need curly braces, an open and a close. So let's compile this and print it. And look what we have. Oh, we have 1 to 9. And then we have end program. So that's important. We didn't get the correct output because we want it to be 1 to 10. And why would that be? Okay, what we're using here is, remember, this is a relational operator. Well, if it has to be less than max, that means it's got to be less than 10. I need to make it equal to 10 at some point, so that has to be less than or equal to. If I run it again, then I'm going to get the correct output. Okay? So let's talk about this pre-test loop for a minute. And then we'll move on to the next one, okay? A pre-test loop is, I need to test this condition before. Is that true or false? So it's like every loop is like asking a question. Is this true or false? If it's true, go into the loop and do it. If it's not true, guess what? I'm just going to go outside the loop, which ends here, and go to the next line of code right there. Okay, so a pre-test loop says, let's test this first. Only as if it's true do I do the loop, otherwise if I go out. So if I end up changing this to, say, 11 to test it, it should not run all the numbers, right? It's just going to print one statement, end program, because it goes in here and it says, while number is less than or equal to max. Well, that's not true. Therefore, it goes outside the loop and just does this print statement, okay? In JGrasp, don't forget that we do have tools. We have this right next to the ladybug. We have this little stepper. This is just like in Coral, where you can use this slide or move it up to, say, 2 seconds. And whoops, where did that go? Right there. Start it, and now you can watch RAM run over here and see what's happening. And that's how you can debug your program. Don't forget we have this stepper up here just like in Coral. If I go back here and use the, say we started at 2, right? Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to use this stepper. Click on that browse to get back to here. Use this stepper and now run. And number starts at 2, max is 10. Over here you can see what's happening in RAM behind the scenes. And then you'll see it increase and print as you go. So don't forget, that's a really important tool in JGrasp when you're trying to figure things out. One of the things that you should be able to do when you do loops is called hand tracing. And when I mean hand tracing, to solve some of your challenge problems, what you probably need to do is pull up a Word document. While that's running, I'm going to do this. And so when you're hand tracing programs, say you don't have access to this ID, you're taking a quiz, you've always put some scratch paper beside you. And so this is stepping through your program, you can see what's happening. If I want to hand trace it, let's end this. Okay, and let's start this to make it easier. Start it at number at 6 and max at 10. So say I want to say, there's a quick quiz question. It says, what is the output to this program? What I want to do is do this, okay? But what are my variables? Number. It's not letting me do this because of what they just changed on my computer. Hang on one sec. Okay, so I got my Word document to work. I'm going to hand trace this program. What does that mean? That means I'm going to try to figure out what this code's output is going to be without running it through JGrasp or NetBeans or something else, or Eclipse. Okay, so I pull up a Word document, and what I always do to hand trace code is to write down my variables. Okay, I'm using number in this. I have max, and then I have output. Okay. My number starts off at 6 in this example. My max is going to be 10. And I'm writing this down, it's much quicker, but I have to type it to show you. Okay, I don't have anything in my output yet, so there I start my program. Then I pretend like I'm the computer. Is number less than or equal to max? Yes. Print the number, so my output's going to say 6. Add 1 to number. Okay, that's 7. Go back to the beginning of the loop. Is number less than or equal to max? Yes, max never changes. Print 7. Add 1 to number. That's 8. Max is still 10. Is 8 less than or equal to 10? Yes. What am I going to print? 8. Add 1 to number. So I'm constantly going through this loop, writing down what's happening. Is 9 less than or equal to 10? Yes. 9. Add 1, 10. And here, add 1 to that, go back. Is number less than or equal to max? Yes. Print 10. Add 1 to number, now number's 11. Okay. Is number less than or equal to max? No. 11's greater than 10, so I jump out of my loop and then I print the final statement, which is end program. And that's how you figure, whoops, that should be over here. And that should be how you figure out what's happening in your program. Okay. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to do the other loops to do the same thing.